Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So summer is here in Dubai and mangoes are in season. So in today's episode I would like to show you a very simple and very delicious mango cream dessert recipe using minimal ingredients. Now as always I promise you the recipe is going to be very simple to follow and it's definitely going to be delicious. In fact, so delicious that both you and your kids will be licking that dessert bowl clean. Let's gather all our ingredients and get right into the recipe.
First, let's take about 4 very ripe Alphonse mangoes. Now this will serve a family of 4 members. Once the skin starts wrinkling, then you can know that the mangoes are very ripe and they're perfect for desserts. I definitely recommend using only Alphonse mangoes specifically for this recipe. I prefer refrigerating the mangoes at least 1 day prior to preparing this dessert so that it's easier for me and I can conveniently skip the entire step of refrigerating the prepared mix. Next, let's take some sugar. Now the quantity of sugar we're going to use would depend upon how sweet the mangoes are and what your family's personal preferences are. If you're not comfortable using sugar, then you can go ahead and replace it with honey. Do try to use flower honey specifically. Next, we are going to need some salt, not too much, just a pinch to balance the sweetness in the dessert. Next, let's take 250 ml of thick cream. Look for the kind of cream that can be used for preparing desserts and sauces. Now, if you're not comfortable using thick cream, then you can always substitute this with whipping cream, whatever you are comfortable with. Now, let's prepare the mango mix. First, out of the 4 mangoes that we had refrigerated, let's take just 3 for blending and 1 for the topping. Now let's peel these mangoes and chop them into small pieces. Of course, if the mango is very ripe, you don't really need to make the pieces small, but I'm just going to do that so I can save some time and the mangoes are going to puree faster. Okay, so after all that peeling and chopping, here are the mango pieces. Now I'm going to drop these into the blender jar. Next we have to add sugar. I'm going to start off with just 1.5 teaspoons of sugar. Now we can always add sugar at a later stage if we feel that the sweetness is not enough. Next, let's add that pinch of salt to balance the sweetness. Now it's time to get blending. Once it's well blended, let's check the sugar. For our family, I feel that this is definitely not enough. I'm going to add 2 more teaspoons of sugar and then I'm going to blend it again. Why I'm doing this is because the cream itself will not be sweet and we may have to add more sugar to the mango mix to balance that. And then we keep blending until we get the smooth and creamy consistency like this without any lumps or any pieces. In case it's still not smooth, you can go ahead and blend it again until you get this creamy consistency. And now let's set this aside. Now let's take a deep bowl. Let's empty the thick cream into it. Get a whisk and start beating this. You can use a hand whisk or even a machine whisk if you're more comfortable with that. You won't have to whisk too long, so even a hand whisk won't make it very tedious. But please do make sure that you use thick cream or at least whipping cream and beat it until soft peaks appear. Next, let's add the mango puree into this. Keep folding it and mixing it well. We have to keep folding and mixing well because there may be a lot of cream at the bottom of our deep bowl and we have to ensure that it is evenly and consistently mixed. Otherwise, we may end up with ribbons of white in our otherwise yellow dessert. I'm now going to check the sweetness and it's just right for us. Now, in case you were not able to use refrigerated mangoes and cream, no worries. You can just wrap this bowl with some cling film and refrigerate the mix for a couple of hours until you're ready to serve this dessert. Now to serve this dessert, you can either use a glass such as this one or even a dessert bowl such as this. In case you're opting for the glass, then try to fill the mix up to half or 3/4 of the glass. I'm going to go for this kind of bowl because I find that it's far more easy to scoop the dessert out and to enjoy it more with this shape. Next, let's divide the mix between the 4 bowls equally. Please don't be less generous or more generous to any particular bowl and try to keep it equal so that you can avoid any unwanted dramas and tantrums at home. Now let's take the mango that we had kept aside, peel it and chop it into cubes. As far as possible, try to cut off all the uneven edges and use only the cubed pieces for topping so that your dessert looks more attractive. Now let's divide these mango pieces based on the number of dessert bowls we are serving. I'm going to divide them into 4 and very gently now let's top the mango dessert. After a heavy meal on a hot summer day, this dessert is going to be very light, mildly sweet and very refreshing to taste.
Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you do try it at home, let me know how you and your family enjoyed this recipe. So until our next video, take care and happy kidding!